Okay, this next section in 7.1 here, this is just where I kind of put together in a couple of pages the calculator functions that you're going to need from here on out. And again, I'm just drawing your attention to them and where you can find them. So for the um, Texas Instruments calculator, we're going to need normal and inverse. I'm sorry, we're going to need CDF, cumulative distribution function, and inverse functions for all of these distributions that we're going to be looking at from here on out. And some of these are native to the Texas Instruments calculator. And a couple of these I've programmed. And when I get the chance, I'll load these onto your calculators. Will be those ones. And those ones can be found in the programs part of your Texas Instruments calculator. If you're using an older calculator, I've made a version of this and a version of that for you as well. So again, where you find these is, let me bring up, here's the Texas Instruments calculator. Let me turn this one on, clear this out. Okay, so if you go to the distributions functions, so we hit second, then the vars button. Here are the CDF and inverse functions. So here's inverse T and T CDF. Chi-squared CDF, but notice there's an inverse chi-squared missing. And here's an F CDF, but there's no inverse F function. Those are found here in the programs. This is what I'll load in. So here's an inverse F function for you. Here's an inverse chi-squared that I'll load in for you. And if you're using older calculators, I've got an inverse N and an inverse T that you can use as well. So over here on the NumWorks calculator, if you want functions that look equivalent to the Texas Instruments, okay, you can find those in the toolbox. So let me show you where those are. So you want to be in the calculation app. So select the calculation app and click OK. The toolbox button is this button in the upper right-hand corner. It also has the word paste in it. So if you just click the toolbox button, go down to probability, you can click OK or hit the right arrow button, go to distributions, go to the right arrow, and then depending on what distribution you're interested in, so if you're interested in the, let's see here, if we go to, I don't see chi-squared or F. Let's see here, if we go to students T, you can see there's a T CDF and an inverse T. So I'm noticing here that, this one does not have, the toolbox does not have chi-squared or F here. Okay, but don't worry. Where you can find CDF and inverse functions for those other ones is go back to apps, go down to distributions and click OK. And here you'll see there's normal distributions, there's chi-squared, students T, and Fisher's F. And if you click OK, you can put in a few parameters, something like this. And now if you're doing a CDF, then you'll put the value of X here and it'll give you an area. If you're doing an inverse function, you can put an area here to the right and it'll give you a value related to it and it'll kind of shade it in. So you can have that for the F. You can have that for the chi-squared distribution. You'll learn about these later, right? So put a number in here if you want to use a CDF function. Put a number here if you want to use an inverse function. And there's also the student's t and the normal distribution here. Okay. So I'm just kind of, again, bringing this to your attention, showing you kind of where you can find these things on both calculators. At this point, please notice what I put down here is maybe when it's convenient, go ahead and take these pages out because you're going to need them later from chapter 9 on. All right. So we got an example next. So let's go ahead and stop here. I wouldn't really say, if you have any questions about these, just let me know. All right.